Okay, so there is one comment and one comment only that I am going to respond to from my last post. So one kind gentleman decided to say that the reason guys were probably not wanting to date long term was because at 40, women have nothing worth committing to.
While that might be the sort of talk you hear in the comments section, which we'll check out in a little bit, out here in the real world, it's not that black and white. Men commit to older women all the time. But the reason why a younger guy, who's probably childless, will be more reluctant to commit to a woman in her 40s is probably because he wants a family. Now, before you get at me saying that women in their 40s can have kids, so what you talking about? I know that, but it doesn't change the reality of the fact that it's much harder to conceive at that age. And if someone wants to have more than just the one kid, that's also something that'll be factored into a guy's final decision. When you're dealing with people who already have kids though, and maybe they've been through a divorce or something like that, dating a woman who's over 40 most likely isn't going to be that big of an issue. But let's carry on with the video and see what she's got to say.
We're only worth committing to at a younger age to have children or later in life. Now, I would protest that at 40, I am probably fitter physically. I am definitely healthier mentally. I am in a much better place emotionally, financially, in my career, pretty much every single aspect of my life.
None of that really matters to a guy who wants to have kids though. Let's say that tomorrow she meets a guy who's also 40. When are they going to have that first kid? Because the clock is ticking. It might even be the case that she gets pregnant within the first few months of meeting someone. And if that happens, she'll be giving birth at 41. But what if she or the guy wanted more kids? Maybe they wanted to have a family of 5. So when are they going to start trying again? Again, it will be possible for them to still have a family at that age, but it's gonna be tough. And just looking after one baby is a lot of work. Because of all these factors, it just makes sense that a guy would prefer to date a younger woman. By dating a younger woman, they won't be in such a rush to get the ball rolling. At least that's my thinking on this whole thing.
I have got so much more to give, and so has every other 40-year-old woman that I know. Why is it, aside from children, or why can't we take that narrative out of it? Are you trying to tell me that at 40 years old, so probably halfway through my life, the next half of my life, I'm just not worthy of commitment because I'm not going to have children, or because I can't give you a child? I don't want one either. What a crappy narrative. What an absolutely crappy narrative. Thumbs down to you.
I don't see what the issue is. If she doesn't want kids herself, she just has to find a guy who's on the same page as her. The trouble is though, most people do want to have kids, which makes sense as it's ingrained into our biology to want to pass on our genes and all that. There's no point in her engaging with men online who do want to have a family, because, of course, they're not going to see eye to eye on this whole thing. Anyway, this is what was being said in the comments.
I think what men realize is us women over 40 are less likely to be manipulated by them. That's the real reason.
While this might be the case for some guys, I don't at all think it's the majority.
For men who want children, you are not an option. And you probably don't care about that group either. So what's the issue? I don't get it. When you say commitment, is it a new PC way of saying marriage and money?
That last comment was a little funny, but honestly, you have to wonder if there's some truth in it. Anyway, let's get on to this next clip, who, unlike the woman we just watched, does have children. And because of that fact, she seems to be having a hard time in the dating game. But let's check it out.
The stigma that single mums still get is something I just cannot fathom. We are single-handedly running busy households. We're doing the cooking, the cleaning, the washing, the gardening, the DIY. We are supporting multiple small humans emotionally, physically, financially, whilst for the most part carrying the responsibility of raising them into being decent human beings. And we do all that whilst working full-time and building a successful career. For a lot of us, we were doing all of that before we were even given the official title of single mum. Still people like yourself that delude themselves into actually believing that for some reason single mums are somehow worth less. Are you mad?
First things first, it's not that she's worth less as a human, but in the eyes of a guy who doesn't already have kids of his own, taking on her kids is a burden he just might not want to take on. And what's wrong with that? Being able to have kids of my own is a blessing. I don't have to deal with some other dude who wants to have a say about what goes on in my house. And everything I do goes towards the benefit of my own child. And I don't have to spend a penny on someone else's legacy. Now for some dudes, well, a lot of dudes actually, they're perfectly happy doing that. But for me, that's something I'd rather avoid. If I got divorced in 10 years and didn't plan on having any more kids, I'd probably be a little more open to dating a single mom. But that's still going to depend on a variety of things which aren't really worth getting into right now. When women make videos like this, it's like they don't even attempt to try and see things from a guy's point of view, and why some are reluctant to date a single mom. It's like the risk and cost to the guy they're potentially going to get involved with aren't even considered. But maybe that's something that'll never change. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next one.